prepared for that energy. I've never met anyone like that before in Northern California. Where I grew up, everyone was pretty low-key, pretty, understated. There was nothing understated about Valerie Lansburg. She just sort of exploded into this apartment. And I got a real lesson in Southern California culture from her in about 10 minutes.
What was the lessons? What were some of the lessons that you got in 10 minutes? Because when they come at you like that and you're not used to this kind of environment, you're just kind of like standing there like a deer in the headlights.
I really did feel like a deer in the headlights in the early time. And I think that was part of what, that quality, Mother Love, is what got me, what landed me on Little House. It was that quality that got me there. If I'd been a hipper, more sophisticated Southern California guy and I had radiated that, I never would have been for that show. I think Michael wanted very authentically, and look, Melissa Gilbert called me a hayseed at one point.
Okay.
15, I'm the hayseed. She called me a hayseed. But, and I was a little rubbed the wrong way when she said that. But
wait, before you go on, tell people what is meant by calling you a hayseed.
Well, I think she just meant, I was like, if you're a hayseed, literally, it's like you've just come out. I mean, the way I would interpret that is you've just come out of a hayfield and you've got some straw in your hair. And that's because you're a country guy and you're really unsophisticated and you're just, living a very natural life, very unsophisticated life. In relative terms, compared to the way young people are raised in Southern California, I was coming from this very simple, unsophisticated background. I think it was a smart background, but it wasn't a culturally hip background. In fact, where I came from, all of that was sort of frowned upon. That was just a little bit too loud, a little bit too outspoken.
From her.
The word was smart people play a little more on the down low. And that was what I came from. And I was, so I was very cautious. I said I shook everybody's hand. I wore a coat and tie to actor auditions. I regardless of what the part was.
But see, now, Dean, that's class. That is class. You can have all the money in the world and all the perks and all these people around you. You cannot buy class because class is where your inner core is. And when you're not like that, I mean, it gets kind of crazy, and you're like, oh, my goodness, what is wrong with these people? They're all on drugs, and can I talk to their drug dealer? Because it was so different.
People looked at me, Mother Love, and wondered if I was for real. I mean, I don't know if they quite believe.
Okay, let me tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you what it is, Dean. Let me tell you what it is. You coming from a simple background, which was a huge foundation for whatever it was that you were going to do with your life and in your life and what kind of legacy that you're going to leave. And you come from, we sit down and pray at the table, we go to church, we help the homeless people, and then you come down here to L.A. and you're like, what the sad H-double hockeys is going on in this town? They got pink hair, purple hair, they got piercings every place, and I'm like this. And they had to teach. They said, okay, now, Mother Love, we're going to teach you how to be able to, deal with the community. First thing you don't do is you don't stare. I'm from Cleveland. I'm like, oh, no, I'm staring. And they said, why are you looking at me? Because you got tattoos in your face, baby. That ain't attractive. Who told you that was going to make you look good? You wanted people to see that and say, I was in the post office one day. And, and this is even when you're in a car, you stop at a stoplight. We have a tendency to look around, see what our surroundings are, right? Okay. So, and this is a big guy. And he had a little son with him. He could have been no more than 4 or 5 years old. And so I was just standing in line, I turned around. I couldn't stop that. I was like, whoa! He said, ma'am, are you all right? I'm like, you ain't know. Why you got all these tattoos in your face and on your arm? You ain't got nothing on your body. You will never be able to be buried in a Jewish cemetery. He goes, well, I'm not Jewish. I said, well, you just took that off the plate. So that's one. And he just looked at me, and he just thought I was really crazy. But by the time I got finished, We were walking out the post office hand in hand. And this is what he said. You sound just like my mother. I said, baby, because I am your mother. I'm mother love. And then he went to full, fan. I'm like, dude, that is not attractive.
Where did you get that? Where did you get that name? How did you come by the name?
Okay, wait, no, this is not how this works, Dean. I asked the question. You're the guest. You don't get to ask the host. Okay, but I'm going to tell you because you asked me. When I went to college, we attended the Ohio State University, and I'm out there and I'm loud and boisterous, and I got a cute body and I got a big giant butt, and I could run through the game room and I could do a 4-foot vertical leap and jump in the middle of the pool table. And so everybody used to, they would, how college students are, they get drunk, they be happy. Yeah, I just need to go see Sister Love. She'll tell me what this thing is on. Why is it white like this? Why is it growing? And they would go, will you look at this, sister? And I'm like, yeah, you got VD. Come on, let's go to the free clinic. So they decided, some of the guys decided, and I had more male friends than I do female friends. So my male friends were like, okay, you can go to her. She'll tell you what you need to do. I'm 17 years old, and I became Sister Love of the university. When our son was born, I never even thought anymore about it to this child, that God picked this child M1. I'm like, there's only I done just messed up the game. What am I doing with another human being? Oh, my goodness. And just like she sprung forth from my forehead like Zeus. She was, I saw this big, black, sturdy woman. She had a 1940s dress with the little pillbox hat, the gloves and the handkerchief and everything. And she was standing there saying, yeah, your mother love. Now, what you going to do with that mouth? Because you got somebody to take care of, and they're going to be watching everything you do. And I was like, why don't you get out of my hospital room? And I watched God put our son, he just touched his face like this, and I know it wasn't nobody but he touched his face like this, and when he took it away, our son has the deepest dimples. And I told him, you ain't never going to be looking hard. You got them dimples going to give you away. That smile going to give you away. You're like, oh, Mom, what you do, and I was like, I just wanted to see if my body worked, too. When they told me you're pregnant, I can't be pregnant. The doctor said, well, you better tell that ultrasound over there. I was like, what?
I'm going about 50 shades of red here.
I'm watching you.
I mean, look at this.
Hey, wait a minute, and it's all the women. And this was, people think you just blush from here up. You just waved your hand. They just as red as your face. And you don't go to Vegas and gamble, do you?
I really don't. Las Vegas has never been a place. I mean, the shows are great.
Yeah.
I love the lights and all that. But yeah, Las Vegas is not a place that I would ever go to hang out.
And when I brought that up because you and I are the people, we wouldn't do well at the poker table because my husband came over and got my cards at the poker table because I didn't know you're supposed to not tell people. I'm like, I got to move her from we have a tell. We have a tell, and we're easy. That's why you wear your feelings on your sleeves, and then when you can get them out, you don't have to keep any of that toxicity. You don't have to keep any of that nastiness in. Yeah. You get to do what you get to do. So what was the conversation like? Because you were always also in the movie Forever. He's been on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This cat has a list. You have a resume, and it doesn't seem like it has ever changed your core, the man who you are. How were you able to hold on to that part of being? Because you know this business, well, I can't even find nothing to spit. Spit out. Did I just chew paper?
Yeah.
How were you able to hold on to your humanity and your place in the world?
I think that's a very challenging thing and particularly any young person. That's challenging if you're surrounded by older people who are, or just people who seem to be more experienced or more, just more ahead of the game than you are. I just think, for me, it's about what my upbringing was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was raised in a very particular way to be the person that I am. I was validated for that. Look, was it the perfect upbringing? Who has a perfect upbringing? I don't know anybody has a perfect upbringing.
And if they tell you that it's a perfect upbringing, they're lying.
Yeah, I mean,
come on, let's just keep it real, Dean. They're lying.
I felt good about the lessons I was learning. No, I certainly evolved through the years. Things that I am not thinking perhaps exactly the same way now that I did when I was a young man. But basically, fundamentally, I feel good about the lessons I got as I was a kid, and I think I learned very early at least what I was being taught about what was right, what was wrong, what was good, what was bad, how to behave, how not to behave. I got those lessons very clearly, strongly, early on.
I know what that strongly means.
And that stuff stays with you.
Especially when you know it's the right thing.
It always served me well. That's the thing. I think that the reactions I got, or I felt like the upbringing I got, although, okay, it wasn't cool in Southern California. I get that. But when I was looking at all the crazy stuff that was going on in Southern California with a lot of young people, I thought, well, this may be the cool thing, but it's not a good thing necessarily.
Just because it's cool.
I didn't worry about that so much. Yes, you always want to be accepted. Everyone wants to be accepted. But I think if you have a good compass on you about what's right and what's right and what's not right, I think that serves you very, very well. And if you're able to verbalize that, people, blushing and all that aside, people get it. They understand who you are, and I think people will accept you if they sense that you accept yourself.
You brought this up about authenticity, and we don't see a lot of that. And coming from an intact family, all of us came from a dysfunctional family. Well, I don't know if they was dysfunctional. My mother said, listen, this is a totalitarian dictatorship. You're going to do what I say, when I say it, and how I say it. And don't you ask me any questions. No. Don't ask me any questions. I can say, well, you'll say, well, Mama, why? Because I said so. And that was enough. And that's the way that we were brought up. We were brought up with that foundation. And to watch it through the decades where it's deteriorating, I couldn't even imagine growing up in a community where everybody didn't look out for everybody else. I was born and raised in the projects in Cleveland, Ohio. They called our apartment, our place where we live, the Carver Park Estates. So I looked up estates. I'm like, this must be a good thing. I live in the estates. And everybody looked out for everybody. We were in a village. There was nobody that we denied coming through. My mother had the Rainbow Coalition of Friends before Jesse Jackson even knew what a Rainbow Coalition was. And she knew, I thought she knew everybody. Because she acted like she knew everybody and everybody knew her. And that was important because, you could be acting a fool someplace and you don't know who your mom and daddy know. And they call you before you even get home, call your mom and daddy, and they go, case in point, I was a very apt student. I was very smart. I was on a National Honor Society. I knew I was graduating early from high school and, I was on so me and my girlfriends decided they would call it kidnapping now when we would all be in federal prison. We took one of our neighbor men hostage and made him take us across town to the bowling alley. So we going over here where the rich white people live because ain't nobody going to know us over there. So while we sitting at the light, a fire truck pulls up and you just kind of watch it. I was telling about the guy in the post office. I look up. It's one of my mother's dear friends who is a firefighter. But no way he didn't know because I saw him and he stopped. I was like, Lord, please, Jesus, can you just kill me now? Can I just go in the bowling alley and just have a massive stroke or a heart attack? My mother never in my entire academic career did she ever say to me, so how was school today? So that day, and she was, so how was school today? And Mom's thinking, why the heck are you at home? You early from work. What? You're just here to make my life miserable. She never, I couldn't even turn my lips up to, I was like, she said, whatever you say, I'm going to know you're lying. And I couldn't even get the story straight. And all I could think about, she really does have eyes in the back of her head. Yeah. Did your mother say, wait a minute, could she give you the look? Could they give you the look like give you the side eye?
Yeah, no, my
and the side I'd be choking you.
Yeah. If I wasn't being totally straightforward with my mother, she knew it. She absolutely knew it. And a very similar background to yours. All the parents knew the parents. It was a small community I grew up in. So yeah, everyone knew everybody. No one was going. Look, I was never a bad kid anyway. I was never pushing the boundaries because I was raised not to do that. But And I think probably one of the reasons